West Pittston, the garden village on the Susquehanna River, is now a debris field. At this mud-covered corner is the home of Bernadette Oliver's daughter, Jessica.
This is the way we found it when we got in this morning. The piano was even tipped over.
The powerful flood pushed the love seat into a doorway. Mud sits on plates in the dining room hutch. The refrigerator is on the kitchen floor. But Jessica and her husband are some 7,000 miles away, members of the U.S. Army serving in Afghanistan.
I don't want her to come home to this.
Across the street, chiropractor Frank Colella cleans out his office. The water rose to 8 feet inside, coating the floors in muck, popping open this locked file cabinet, destroying his x-ray machine.
I raised this up as high as it could be, but as you can see, there's still following on top of it. Usually the sandbags held it out, and this time it went over the windows. I mean, there wasn't really much we could do.
And then there's the odor, a stench of river sludge, home heating oil, and gasoline. A stench residents say reminds them of the last great flood in 1972. But in the midst of this agony are unexpected acts of kindness. Dave Stahara found Bernadette and went to work, pumping out the basement.
Nobody helps each other anymore. Good thing we had
Kim Burnham walked into the arms of Frank. Her coffee kiosk used to be in his parking lot. The flood moved it down the street. Some of her customers came to help.
I was afraid it was going to kill somebody.
Their worlds turned upside down. Writing them won't be easy or painless. Ann Thompson, NBC News.
100,000 people along the swollen Susquehanna River are under mandatory evacuation orders today because of massive flooding caused by the remnants of the tropical storm Lee. Up to 75,000 of those evacuees are from parts of northeastern Pennsylvania where rising waters have been blamed for the deaths of 5 people. Another person is still missing. Just this morning, President Obama declared a state of emergency there, giving more than 36 rain and flood-soaked counties access to federal aid. Up to 9 inches of rain fell in some parts of the state in little more than just 1 week. In Binghamton, New York, authorities say floodwaters are receding there, but there's no indication yet when some of the city's 20,000 evacuees can return home.
It's such a gorgeous spot to live. I love the river. You saw us carrying our canoe out of here. I don't want to leave. I can't live like this, though. It's hard.
Hard for so many. The Weather Channel's Chris Warren is live from Binghamton watching that for us. And what are you seeing there?
Exactly what you just said. A couple things here. We are seeing the river recede. We're also seeing that it's going to be a while before people can get back into their homes. Look at this one. I mean, it can be days. This home is essentially now in the river. The river is going very fast on each side of this home. So just a couple of days ago, it was riverside property. Now it's basically in the river. But the people I've talked to, they like living here. It's a beautiful place. We're here now and it's flooding, but oftentimes, most of the time, it's gorgeous to live next to the river. You can hear it. It's just a beautiful setting, but now we don't know how long it's going to take for many of these people to get back home. Rivers dropped down a whole bunch since we got here. I mean, just from where I'm standing, it's probably about 20 yards away from me where the water was, so it's coming down quite a bit.
Pennsylvania floods leave devastation in wake as the Susquehanna River and its tributaries in Pennsylvania and New York recede from some of the highest floodwaters ever seen. Tens of thousands of people, forced from their homes in the already soggy Northeast, were left to imagine the devastation that awaited them. Approximately 135 water and sewage plants in Pennsylvania were flooded, causing raw sewage to spill into streams and rivers. Swirling brown waters carried off at least 10 houses in the state and filled other homes to the rooftops, forcing rescues by boat and helicopter and putting severe strain on the flood walls that protect some towns. Further south in waterlogged northern Virginia, the remnants of Tropical Storm Lee, on the heels of Hurricane Irene a week and a half earlier, closed roads, schools, and a commuter rail line, and a retaining wall was brought down near a townhouse complex, causing evacuations. In Maryland, the Susquehanna River reached a 15-year high of 32.4 feet and was expected to remain at or above that level into the night, the National Weather Service said. Dam gates were opened to relieve pressure on the river. At least 15 fatalities have been blamed on Lee and its aftermath. 7 in Pennsylvania, 3 in Virginia, 1 in Maryland, and 4 others when it came ashore on the Gulf Coast last week. President Barack Obama declared states of emergency in Pennsylvania and New York, opening the way for federal aid. Extreme stress. The central Pennsylvania town of Bloomsburg endured its worst flood in more than a century as the Susquehanna flooded hundreds of homes, destroying some of them. The high water prevented fire crews from reaching blazes in a high school maintenance shed in the town's recycling center. The river crested at nearly 42.7 feet Thursday night in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, beyond the design capacity of the region's levee system and higher than the record set during catastrophic Hurricane Agnes in 1972. Officials said the levees keeping back the river were under extreme stress but holding, and crews scrambled to shore up weak points. In many places, floodwaters covered street after street, flooding some homes to the roof. One homeowner who got 18 inches in his basement during Agnes was flooded with 8 feet of dirty river water this time around. Commuters confronted scores of road closures and a shutdown of the Virginia Railway Express. The railroad, which serves suburbs south and east of Washington, said parts of both lines were underwater, and the track bed was washed out in at least one spot. More extreme weather and record-breaking flooding in the Northeast and along the east coast of the United States. In other words, climate change is real, and it's happening right now. And these are more signs of the end times, transition days, which is a continuing process of extraordinary changes, happenings, and events, which are increasing in frequency day by day. Everything is connected, and everything is numbered. It's also called fate or destiny, and it's about what kind of world are we leaving to the future generations. Again, Luke chapter 21, verse 25. And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. 26. Humans' hearts failing them for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. 27. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. 28. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draws near. Revelation chapter 14, verse 12. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. 13. And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, Write, speak, blessed are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth. Yes, saith the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, and their works do follow them. 14. And I looked, and behold a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. 15. And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, Thrust in thy sickle, and reap, for the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. 16. And he that sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. Yes, it's time for all prophecy to be fulfilled. The time is right now. There is a spiritual side are part to everything.